can see it when you see me.
Oh, Sookie now. Hell yeah. I know my dogs are watching, and if you ain't, I know you will be. And if you are watching and you ain't my dog yet, you will be, because I'm Swede and I'm here to help you get busy living. Welcome to the Get Busy Living Project 55 podcast. I am so glad that you guys are tuning in, and I couldn't tell you how much I appreciate you until the day I get to hug you in person. But just take it from me that I'm doing all of this, every single bit of this, I'm doing for you guys. Now, if you aren't familiar with the Get Busy Living Project, I'm on a mission to go on one epic adventure every single month for the next 50 months. I've already done 5. I've already had one streak in my life where I did 54 in a row. And so I had a little mishap that struck me and set me back a little bit. And so that streak that I was on before I got snapped at 54 months in a row. So I got back on my feet after a long, arduous process and started the streak back up a couple months ago. And thanks to the help of a lot of you guys, I've been able to go 5 months already. With this last month in December being month 4, I went back to Pittsburgh and went to my hometown of Canton, Pennsylvania, saw the snow. Oh my God, so much snow. My sisters were troopers helping me get in and out of the house. Then I went and spent a couple weeks in Erie. And you know what's funny about Erie? I didn't go inside anybody's cribs. Nobody's. Because I got this wheelchair and Erie just ain't built like that apparently. Man, that was a harsh reality, because I came there because I love all you guys and I wanted to say hello to all you guys. So speaking of loving and saying hello, if you're in the comments or if you guys are watching this, get up in the comments. Let me know you're there. Let me know where you're at. What up, Ray? What's up, my dog? I was just saying, Ray was one of the people that I got a chance to catch up with when I was back in Erie, along with quite a few of my old school homies. I've known Ray since I was 5, well, 6. I've known Ray since I was 6 because I was 6 years old when I went into the first grade, and Ray was in Miss Novicki's house. Yeah, that's my dog. And my girl Tasha, what's up, girl? Hey. So, guys, we're so excited. I'm so excited. So, I started off month 5 of this Get Busy Living Project 55. Um, and that was in my hometown of Erie, Pennsylvania. Well, actually, I was born in Kane, and I grew up in Erie. So I spent month 5, kicked it off in Erie, but Tasha and I are going to go on another adventure in next weekend. So, some of these things are built for everybody, and some of them are just come if you can. Like this last epic road trip, man, I got a chance to see a lot of people. Thanksgiving, I got a chance to see a lot of people. But like this one, if you guys want to meet us up there, we're going to be in Flagstaff. I'm going to get my first lesson this month, and then once I get my lesson, then I'm going to be able to go up and start training. And next month, the weekend of the Super Bowl is going to be epic month number 6, and I'm going to be doing a race. So there's a qualifier race a couple days before it, and then I'm going to do another race. And if I qualify and I do well enough in the other race, then I'm going to, on my birthday in Utah is going to be like a world championship or something like that. Some like event to compete with a lot of people. There she is. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rex to the podcast.
I honestly don't know if I'm going to be able to stay. Let's see if I'm able to stay.
Well, you're loud and clear right now. There were some technical difficulties there for a minute.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so go on with what you're saying. I'll just join in.
Well, as you already know, so
Mm-hmm.
month, December was crazy. Okay, we got highlights of that coming up, guys, and you know, Erie kicking off month 5 was a little more less key, a little more low key, um, and but probably my favorite episode so far. Got a chance to kick it with Schaefer, who is the new object of our affection. If you guys aren't familiar with what the Help Swede Walk Again organization is, we're on a mission to help people get back on their feet, just the way you guys helped me get on my feet. And Schaefer was one of the nominations. So if you know somebody that you think could use some help, um, by all means, please let us know at nominations@hswa.org. Just tell us their story and get us an intro, and we'll reach out Right now we're just building this podcast so that we get good at practicing and reaching out to you guys. But soon enough, we'll be broadcasting on a broader base and asking for help from a lot of different people. There's a lot of network involved and a lot of funding that's going to be involved. But we want to bring stem cells to your living rooms. And we want people like Schaefer, who we know that we can help, to be just somebody that is an example, because this guy has so much fire. I mean, what did you think about this guy? Seeing him on camera, I'm sure it's not like seeing him in
You
person.
you can't help but love this kid. You just can't help it. He just has this drive and this great attitude, and amazing.
The truth is that just because you have setbacks such as I and he doesn't mean you have to like us, right? And I don't like this guy because of those reasons. He really does set the room on fire. His voice echoes and he's got fire, and he looks like he's on fire. He's a killer. So so we kicked off the month 5 with Schaefer, and so he's just one of what we hope to be very many, a great deal of people that we are able to help throughout the life of this podcast. So this month, we're also going to go skiing next weekend. So if you guys want to meet us in Flagstaff, you're obviously always welcome. But then next month, on February 11th, is we're going to be up in Flagstaff. We're going to get a house in Flagstaff and stay up there Saturday and Sunday night. Depending on who else comes with us, it might be a lot longer than that.
This sounds so fun. I cannot wait. It's near my birthday, which makes it even more special for me.
Oh, wait. So if you come up, next week's we're podcasting on your birthday.
Is that a Thursday? I never really looked at the calendar, but that's cool.
Uh-oh. Are you going to show us your birthday suit?
No. No, not at all.
If not on your birthday, it doesn't seem like it's going to happen, man.
It's not going to happen, no.
Man, you better.
I'm no fun.
You know what? You know what?
I have never.
Okay.
I've never been any fun, and you know it.
No. We're gonna spin this into you're setting the tone, because I'm not gonna show my birthday suit if you don't, and that probably is gonna save our audience from turning this into a horror film.
Exactly. I mean, we are turning 21 times 2 like 0.3 or something. I don't know.
Hey, as long as it starts at 21.
So I was telling someone today like how long I had been teaching, and everybody in the room looked at me like, that's a long time. And I was like, ooh, yeah, it is getting to be a long time. Did you talk about what we want to talk about today?
Talk about what we want to talk about?
Yeah. Have you talked about it? Because I don't know. I wasn't here because I was having issues.
No, actually, I haven't said a word. I was busy talking about the Project 55, but by all means.
Okay, so let's not say it yet, because I think first what I want to do is I want to bring up how the Veganuary is going.
Thank you. Thank you for your persistence. Thank you for doing this with me. Mm-hmm. I feel great. I'm sleeping like a baby. Well, my girlfriend keeps me up at night sometimes, but that's because she works at night.
I don't think you're complaining.
I just said my girlfriend. I have a girlfriend.
Yeah,
guys.
I know. Hey, so that's sooner or later you got to say the word.
She makes me feel special.
Well, she's pretty special herself.
She is. What's up, Mel? Thank you for joining us. Lori, thank you for tuning in. Tell Schaefer we said hello. We love him. Got my man Angel Gomez in the house representing West 16th Street back in 1987. What up, Gomez? My dog. Hell yeah. So
normally I would be the one to put these things on screen, but I'm really afraid to touch anything. I'm afraid that it's going to set everything off. Okay, you do it.
That's my dog. Right there. Like, come on, let's get real.
So you actually are doing vegan. You're doing a good job.
Oh yeah, I haven't even thought twice about it.
Excellent.
Really. It helps not to be watching the Steelers and seeing everybody else drinking beer and eating wings. That helps.
Yes. So, well, I'm doing a pretty good job myself, and it's funny because there's been a couple of mistakes here and there, and I wasn't hard on myself. Where there was a point where I found myself eating a piece of baklava, and I was like, "Oh crap, this has butter," and then I just finished eating it, and I was like, "Oh well." But I was just not going to be hard on myself and be like, "Oh, I got to throw up."
Yeah,
It's like I'm whatever. I enjoyed that baklava, but overall, it's really helping me decrease my dependence on cheese, and it's so helpful.
Yeah, the cheese thing is a big obstacle for a lot of people. And if we just knew, like, if I could just project you guys into my brain and you knew what I knew, like I've seen on a microscopic level what cheese is and what it does to our body on a physiological level, like the hormone imbalances that dairy causes. I can't even. I'm so honestly, I love cheese. I love it. It's just as much as anybody else. It's delicious. But too much
I
of it,
know.
or just accumulating over time, just So yeah,
It's
so
so good, but I was relying on it at least once a day to be like the main thing, and it's gotten me away from that. And I catch myself doing things like looking for cheese, or thinking I should order a pizza, and then going, "Oh no!" So it's kind of like limiting me. It's reining me in, and that's exactly what I needed. And I'm doing pretty well. I think that I'm going to try to keep avoiding it into February.
well, I would not be doing it if I didn't have public accountability. Um, as far as like so well, but it's been something that I've really been really focused on. I remember being in the facility and just like battling with them about them not offering me better food. And so I was like, when I get out of this facility, I'm gonna have my own kitchen, and I'm gonna, and I don't have my own kitchen right now, so that does make it more of a challenge. Because when I did have my own kitchen, it was quite easy. I mean, I started veganism back in 2013, and I quit overnight and didn't even think twice about it all the way until I was in
What do
Thailand.
you mean, though? What do you mean you don't have your own kitchen right now?
I can't go throw everything out that's not a temptation and only let stuff in that's good.
Because you
That's what I
share a
do.
house with your brother Doug.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Say what's up to Aaron Buzik in the house, talking
Hey,
about my
Aaron.
girlfriend. Yeah. So
Oh yeah, you
Boozy
guys went to a
and
football game.
yeah, absolutely. So that was such a trip. So I know that we haven't shared with you guys, my footage from December, and in that last trip, but that's because it's extra good. I had so much fun. I got a lot of footage to go through. All right, so give me a. But no, seriously, I wouldn't have nearly the success with this if I didn't have you guys as being a part of it. And it goes to the community thing that we were mentioning. I really, it's all about, helping others be better too, and if I'm helping others, I'm more encouraged to do it myself. Honestly, it's so much easier for me to focus on it if I know I'm sharing it with someone. That goes for just about every aspect of my life.
Yeah, and I think that that's a common thread amongst thought leaders is that, and it's as simple as the thing that we used to say to kids at Christmas, like giving is better than getting, and of course the kids like that's not right, but it's absolutely true in life. If you think first, what can I give rather than what can I get, you're gonna have a much better life.
Absolutely. And so in the process of trying to build this thing piece by piece, I had a chat today with a potential um, team member, and we were just going over the background. I was telling him the story of the podcast a little bit, and I told him about the fact that when I got injured, Scott told me that people that I hadn't probably didn't even really develop a friendship with, but had become fans of mine because the rhymes I wrote on Facebook were part of the contingency that helped save me. Which, by the way, thank you to every single one of you, including you, D-Rex, for keeping me around. But I was telling him about that, and it made me think about. So what I did was I was trying to like show him one. So I just went. Something he said sparked a memory of one that I know that is in the Book of Sweetisms, and I went to show it to him. And when I went and Googled my Facebook or the search on Facebook, I had so many things in there that were examples of what I wanted to show him about just the the rhyming on Facebook, and
Mhm.
the point of the Book of Sweetisms book. And what I felt was like I was fortunate enough that I have friends that were fans of that stuff that kept in touch with me. I
Mhm.
really believe that social media like saved my life.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So
you're if it was any time before this time, you might not have survived.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And speaking of community, I want to talk for a second about the 100-mile challenge and
Yeah,
how
yeah.
that's going. Because my favorite communities, it's
Uh-oh, sounds like D-Rex is having a sound issue, but that just gives me an
am I
opportunity to
having
play. Where is it? There it is. I love it. I forgot I had it on. I
okay.
forgot it on a loop. Hold on, hold on. You guys, D-Rex made this. Look at Chet sliding in. That's my dog.
Can you actually hear me?
I can now. Yeah.
Am I
Are you
is it
back?
like a fake? Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna stay off screen for a little bit until the until the connection improves.
Oh
But
yeah, you're loud and clear now
if you
that
can
you're
hear
now.
me,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you
Well, I
gotta
would
get
just
to look
like
at
to
my
say
pretty
that
face.
the 100-mile challenge has been so fun. Like, I don't even know most of the people in it, but I like every one of their posts. And when I actually put a post up, they like my posts, even they don't know me. And it's just a fun part of it. And I'm actually, even though I got a late start, I'm on track for getting it done in January. And I'm super
Nice.
excited about that because I was going to
Wow.
give myself those extra days to my birthday because I started technically, I think, on the 8th because of the
Wait a
flu.
minute. So you're gonna get 23 days, and you're gonna get 100 miles in 23 days.
I think so. I think it's going to happen.
That's that's almost that's 4 miles a day. Four
Yeah,
miles a
I'm
day.
aiming for 5, and then some days it ends up being 4, but never less.
Oh
So,
man,
yeah, it's
I'm so jealous. I'm
I
so
know, and
jealous.
it's like we didn't get your gym set up in time, so that's making
Yeah,
things a little difficult for you. But perhaps we can do our own challenge as soon as that gym is set up.
I'm game. Um, yeah, it's we did a podcast recently about biting off more than you can chew and knowing what to let
Mhm.
go of, and it's ironic that I've learned so much about the human anatomy and physiology and nutrition, and and that I struggle, or I'm not even myself putting a lot of energy into getting in better shape. Like I'm trying to be very careful about what I eat, which by all means,
Mhm.
I don't care who you are, where you're from. Don't make no mistake about it. What you eat is 80% of what your physique looks like. So
Mhm. Mhm.
you don't have to burn thousands of calories a day if you don't eat thousands of calories a day, you know?
Yeah, it's
So,
true.
yeah, so I'm doing my part as far as like, staying on track with the eating, and I feel great, man. That's the biggest thing is that like I've been drinking coffee at all. I mean,
Mm.
you know what coffee has been for me lately is something to drink to get while I'm driving if I want to. But like, for the longest time I was drinking coffee each morning, and I haven't had coffee in the morning
Mhm.
forever. I mean, it's a
And
difference.
why did you quit coffee for the vegan challenge? Is there
I
something
did
about it that's non-vegan?
No, I didn't. That's why I can drink it if I want, but I
Mhm.
haven't because I felt so energetic,
Oh,
that
good,
like,
good.
yeah, yeah. I mean, when you're not eating things that like, so what people don't understand is that like animals have very short digestive tracts that eat meat eating animals, whether you're a mammal or not, compared to your body length, it's, it's, I think it's 1.5 times or something smaller. Right. But like plant eating mammals have digestive tracts that is like 3 or 4 times longer than that. And the reason that that's important is because humans don't have the enzymes to pull meat apart all the way, and
Hmm.
so and a lot of carnivores don't either. But the parts that they can't pull apart, they shit out quickly because they have much shorter digestive tract. So they eat, they get what they need out of it, and they get rid of the rest. Right. Well, humans and other meat or other omnivorous animals have longer digestive tracts. So what ends up happening is, I was talking to Swell's wife, Louise, about this today, is that we end up, the meat that we ends up, by the time we get rid of it, it's like rancid, because like our digestive tract is so much longer. Where it would normally be getting exited stage left on a lion, it's just now getting out of our small intestine and entering into our large intestine, which is AKA our colon. What's the number one killer of men in America? Colon cancer. You know, I think it might be prostate, but that's down there too, and it's affected by that. You know, so
Yeah.
I mean, if that's not proof enough for you that our digestive tracts are the same as all of the other animals relative to our body size that only eat plants, and all of the other animals that eat meat have very short digestive tracts. Is there any other proof that you need that we're not designed to eat it? Like, yeah, we've been able to eat it, and it doesn't make us sick unless we live a lot longer than we're designed to. You know, human beings, you know, genetically, well, if you believe in, you know, age being built in, which new science is saying that age is not inevitable. How about that for a thought? But if you believe in that, you know, they say that genetically humans typically our lifespan before we discovered fire and agriculture and technology was 30s and 40s. You know, we were old enough to have children when we were 10 or 11 or 12, well, 12, 13, 14, whatever. And then we had children for the next decade if we're lucky. And then we're around to raise the children for another 10 or 12 or 13 years. And then we're designed to kind of like check out, you know? And so the fact that for the past, you know, 100,000 years, we actually have been eating meat, and we still haven't evolved very much to it, but we never lived long enough in antiquity for us to develop the heart disease and the cancers, because we died from bacteria and viruses or accidents or starvation, that's the thing with nowadays. We're eating so much food, you know, where our bodies are designed to only eat enough to survive. You know, so what,
and that's why fasting is effective.
I'm sorry, say it again. You're breaking up. I'm sorry.
I'm still breaking up for a second.
Camera.
Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
If you cut your camera off, I think it'll be better.
I just did.
Yeah, it's still breaking up a little bit.
I was saying that. Okay. Well, if it's still breaking up, I may for a while, but I was saying that fasting is so effective.
Yeah, I'm not making out much of what you're saying. Sorry about that, guys. Maybe try to, I don't know, maybe try to do a reset, D. I can't wait to see you in 2 weeks. I'm going to see you for your birthday. That's exciting. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So being that D-Rex is having trouble over there, I just want to step back in the comments and say what's up with y'all. I got my man Gomez. What'd you say about Charlie Much? You crush 100 miles? Yeah, I wish that were true, bro. I'm just, this little chair probably goes 100 miles easy, but not so much on my head and feet, you know. And the whole point of the Chet's 100-mile challenge is, you know, just doing something every day and setting the tone for the year. Because whether it's real or not, we do become more motivated at the beginning of the year. And the thing is that our bodies are in rhythm with this planet, guys. It's proven that, you know, energy is constant, and we've evolved on this planet, and all of our evolution came from like all of the other creatures that have evolved on this planet, and they're all in tune. What up, CJ Industry? Hey, Kelly. All of us creatures are in tune with this earth, and we all have ways of existing, and it's designed way before anybody was making decisions down at GM about what kind of tires to put on the car. Okay, this is survival. This is science's greatest experiment, is the life on earth. Okay, and so what I'm saying is that the reason that humans have calendars is because before there was electricity and before there was even spoken language, when we were really just communicating, you know, more when we were asleep, believe it or not, than when we were awake sometimes. When prehistoric humans, we were so in tune with the stars and the sun and the smell and the breeze that we were more motivated in January, because the days started becoming longer in January. And so we as humans, just like birds that migrate and any other insect that has a shorter life, we are in tune with this planet, and so it's not just like a coincidence. And this is not something that I've always believed. So this is like what I've learned through studying, not just our anatomy, but spirituality. Like I'm taking a class this semester about the religion of yoga. Very interesting. It's a religion, not just an exercise routine, which is what I always thought it was. So yeah, so I've been learning so much about these kinds of things, and so I'm not somebody that just is stuck in my beliefs because of what I was told. That comes to what I eat or anything else that I think. And so when when I'm learning things in school, it's not hard for me to change how I believe and then alter my activities because of new beliefs. Like believe me, believe this. I love pepperoni. You guys have seen me eat an entire stick of it in one sitting. You know what I mean? So, but I just know what it does to me. So that's why I'm trying to minimize it. You know what I mean? It's that simple. If you don't believe me, look at your parents and look at your parents' parents and look at how people are dying nowadays. Okay. Human beings used to die from bacteria and viruses. We'd be lucky to make it to our 50s. And now if we don't eat meat and drink dairy, and we're going to make it to our hundreds. And new technology, read Tony Robbins' new book, man. Wow, what a great book. New technology will blow your mind, and it's erasing all of our former thoughts about what we believe about food. It really is. So, I mean, the Get Busy Living podcast, I've got a lot of goals that I want to do with this. This podcast is just me keeping in touch with my people. That's why I appreciate you guys coming in at me. Thank you, Angel. Intermittent fasting is great. You know what, guys? Don't make it so complicated as intermittent fasting sounds. Don't eat after 4 and don't eat before 8 a.m. That's natural, okay? That's intermittent fasting. And then you just eat lunch or eat a breakfast to give you a little bit of energy. You eat lunch to give you a little bit of energy, and then you eat a little bit of dinner to last you overnight. You know what I mean? Boozy, if I live to be 100, I'm going to try to bring you along with me. Don't even back out on me like that. You're one of the most vibrant and vivacious people. We need more people like you sticking around. And thanks, Lori, for the question. But actually, I did not attain the arm bike. And honestly, man, I'm like pulled in so many directions that was one of the things that I had to let go was the exercise regimen at this point. I'm really just focused on the veganuary stuff. But what I was saying about the podcast is you guys are all my people, right? And I'm going to keep reaching out to you. I'm going to keep inviting you. I don't expect you to always be here. I'm just glad when you are. And what I'm trying to do with this podcast is share with you what I'm learning so that you have some knowledge that's not disinformation, misinformation. I got no motives here, y'all. All right. So I'm telling you what I'm learning and letting you decide what you want to do with it, and I'm hoping that with the other networking that I'm doing outside of this, that we're going to be able to start helping people. And then when we start helping people, then you guys are going to want to spread the word and the audience is going to grow. What up? I got my boy Key Rod in the house. What's up, Key Rod D?
Am I back in? Am I actually here?
You're in and you sound good. Not perfect, but you look good. I love that shirt.
I'm on my phone.
I love that shirt. Seriously.
Well, thank you. This is the shirt that I wear that people say, is that on purpose?
Nothing is accidental with you, I'm sure.
I didn't quite get to hear everything that you were saying. So you continue down the road that you were on, and I'll just jump back in. I just wanted to make sure that I was actually here because I couldn't tell.
Yeah, sorry about that. We are trying to work around the technology thing over there in Glendale, but you guys are California, like 20 years behind. You might as well live in Costa Rica.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Old West.
Look at you talking shit about me. Hey, pepperoni is, to me, bite for bite, the most delicious food. Okay? There's only one thing that tastes better than that. We're trying to keep this podcast rated R, not X, so I'm not going to go there. But the truth is that I could live on just pepperoni. And when I would go to the Chinese buffet, I always use this example. I don't know why it stands out to me, but it's so true. For the first probably 35 years of my life, if you ate Chinese food with me, you saw me go get all the chicken, you saw me go get all the beef, you saw me go get all the pork, you saw me go get some little bit of noodles, and that was it. It was all the different flavors of meats. I would not have a single piece of broccoli on my table. And I learned about these new revelations that science is teaching us, and I changed my behavior. And I noticed the difference. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys are tuned in right now that were hanging out with me back in 2013 when I switched. At that point, I was consuming a lot of calories. I was drinking a lot of sweetened alcoholic beverages, which is calories. You know, you drink 5 drinks in one night, man. That's 500 calories,
Oh,
sometimes more.
yeah. You could probably eat or drink an entire day's worth of calories with a few giant bar drinks.
Okay, guys, look, it's a very simple equation. It tells you how to win and lose when it comes to weight gain and loss. 3,500 calories is 1 pound, whether you're gaining it or losing it. So if you consume 3,500 extra calories, then you are going to gain a pound. If you burn 35 extra calories, you will lose a pound. It's no more or less complicated than that. Some people have hormone issues that cause their machinery to malfunction, but even in most cases, that's more rare. And more often than not, when your doctor tells you that you got hormone issues, just probably trying to put you on meds. You know what I mean?
You know, I think that it's also very helpful to have a community here when we talk about trying to eat better. In many ways, it's always helpful to have a community that's behind you, because there always are some people that want to put in the negative slant on things. You say, I'm going to eat vegan. They go, why? What about bacon? They always say that. There's always somebody who's going to try to get you to not do it because they don't want to do it. But it's important to have a community sometimes, actually most times, for most anything. And that's actually kind of what I wanted to talk about today, if you want to take a second to talk about it. I was just kind of thinking about what it means to get busy living, you know? And to me, it's about getting out there and having fun with the community that you're building. But then I thought, okay, what if you don't have a community yet? What if you don't have your tribe? What if everybody you're around is negative and they don't want to get busy living, you know? Can you get busy living by yourself? Like, is that a thing that's possible? What do you think about that?
Well, I find myself playing devil's advocate before I even talk, because I know how easy it is to disagree with this. I believe that you cannot feel as though you are busy living if you're completely alone. So you can get busy living because it's about the getting. It's about the effort that you put forth, right? So that's why I always tell people, focus on what you have control over. You have control over your actions. You don't have control over the outcome. You know, you can't say I'm going to go score 30 when you don't know if you're going to make every shot. You can say I'm going to go shoot for 30, right? So yeah, you can get busy living on your own, but how much fun do you really have when you don't have anyone to share it with? Right?
And you know, even though I've been doing a lot of things by myself lately. Like, I will just go for runs in Griffith Park, which is kind of like LA's Central Park. Like,
I love it. I love it up there. Yeah, it's great.
You get up in the mountains, and I've just been kind of like trying to go do things that I enjoy, whether somebody comes with me or it doesn't. And I do enjoy myself, but eventually it all comes back to people wanting to be with people. It's a natural need of humans to want to be around other people. So I think you're right. Like, the get part of get busy living is like the action toward doing some things that you would enjoy. But then the busy living part is with others.
Yeah, for sure. It's a very interesting concept because, you know, I was talking to Louise today about several things actually, and one of the things, man, speaking of kids that are on fire, you know, Tyden is on another level, right, of fire.
Yeah,
so,
I've never met a kid like that.
Yeah, he's all over it. I love it. I wish she would tune in. I know she's watching. I wish she would tune in and we could bring her on camera so she could tell a story that she told me today about him, you know, asking her a question and then her telling her the answer. talking about the upcoming sister, and he jumped on his bike and he's like, she's like, you're gonna have a sister to play with, like, because I guess so. What that was, that's what it was. I'll tell the story. So she was telling me that they were at the park and he was talking about a couple of brothers that were playing together, and that they were having a lot of fun. Like he was talking about it, and she's like, well, you're gonna have a little sister like that very soon, and you get to play with her. And she said he was like, yes. And then he was
awesome
like,
response.
she said that he kind of stared off and he kind of walked off, and then he like jumped on his bike and he's like, so long, suckers. And like, he's like, I'm happy to go, like, so, no, but we were talking about that because we were talking about how, so being a mom, you get the glory because it's a hard job. And when you have a kid like him that is always and so energetic, what do kids want? We were talking about how social Titan is. What do kids want that are social? They want attention. That's what we get from other people, right? The attention. I'm not ashamed to admit I'm an attention whore, but that's it. That's the bottom line. And we all, as creatures, as humans, even the ones that have been traumatized as infants and become reclusive and introverted, some aspects of their lives appreciate and enjoy attention. You know what I mean? And we are communal creatures. Human beings, long before we were able to build our own big, huge houses, we were sleeping under trees together. And sleeping together and communicating with each other in our sleeps. How about that for new science? How about that? The stuff that's coming out right now, like it used to take 20 years for cutting edge science to hit the market or to hit, mainstream knowledge, the market saturation, they call it. Nowadays, like the word is getting out about stuff. And yeah, not only might age not be built in, so much stuff is coming out. If you're working on yourself, does that count?
Yeah, like can you get busy living, like working on yourself? And I believe that, yes, that's the beginning of getting busy living. That's the beginning.
That's the get part. And especially, okay, look, this is somewhat of a, an intangible concept here about why it's necessary to have others in order to really get busy living. Don't feel discouraged if you don't have a tribe. Just come here and you do. Okay, that's what we're trying to build here. We're very young in this, but there's nothing but love here, and I'm surrounded by good people. Look at all these guys that are in this chat room. I mean, you guys are all my homies and all my people, and there's plenty of more of you guys to come. So the thing is that as long as the getting part is the thing you want to focus on, right? And then be proud of your outcome when you have victories, and learn from your outcomes when you have losses, right? And just as long as you're keeping on going, and the thing is that it's so easy to have small victories. You don't have to be out, at the Grand Canyon riding mountain bikes or skiing in Flagstaff or taking East Coast road trips. As long as you are feeling as though you are busy pursuing life in whatever way makes you happy. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people.
For me, I kind of feel like when you kind of almost scare yourself a little bit, like that's pushing the limits into getting busy living, right? And that happened to me like last week. I was in Griffith Park, and I didn't really check the forecast or the time. And it started to rain on me halfway through, which was fine. But then it really started to get dark fast. And I thought, this is probably not the greatest idea. Like, hardly anybody's on this trail because they all checked for rain, And then the coyotes start howling and yapping back and forth across the canyon. And I'm like, this is not a great idea. I start running down the hill. And then I heard some guy further down the path, like, yelling. And I was like, oh, my God, is he yelling at coyotes? I don't know. But I got really nervous, But then, when I ran down the rest of the hill. And when I got to the bottom, it was dark. But I was kind of happy that I had kind of pushed my comfort zone a little bit there, So to me, that's one of the small wins. That's Absolutely. One of the small victories.
And, you when you look in the mirror, Aaron, if you're getting busy living. If you feel good about what you're in pursuit of, you're getting busy living. If you're just, hey, look, if you're in cruise control, and living is just getting you, oh, bless your life. You know what I mean? But very few of us have life just come happen to them. You know, don't get me wrong. I don't know what it's like to be born with a silver spoon in my mouth. So I'm sure that there are people out there that are born into a generational, pattern. But for those of us that started, with no guidance and had to figure it all out, as long as you're like, proud of yourself and you're not bored with yourself. If you're out there working your ass off and you feel like you're on a hamster wheel, then you should meet us in Flagstaff next weekend and next month. And then for my birthday in Salt Lake in March, if I win and I qualify for the Salt Lake City race in March on my birthday, I'm going. All this time I've been talking about March is going to be a surprise. Like, surprise me. I thought I was for sure you guys are out there like, orchestrating this huge surprise party, probably in, I don't know, where would be a good place for a surprise party? How about Salt Lake City?
Yeah.
It's something that this is an example of getting busy living. Okay. So I learned that 2 days ago that the championship race was on my birthday. It's a no brainer. I'm going. It's not like, oh man, I got somebody to watch my dog. Like, I have to ask for time off work. I mean, look, if you have the kind of job where you have to ask for time off work, bless you. I'm not telling you it's not a good job. If it makes you happy, it's a good job. But if you don't have the type of relationship with the people around you in your work environment where you can go say, look, I have an opportunity to do something great, and you can't look them in the eye and they can't say, you know what, man, we could probably cover for you around here. You might want to think twice about that. I've had shitty jobs.
People don't ask. People often assume that something can't happen, but what's it going to hurt to ask?
Especially when you have something great coming around. Like when I was in Florida, I got responded to by several friends that there's not a snowball's chance in hell that if the roles were reversed, I would not have come to see them. And they gave me reasons that they weren't able to show up that were heartbreaking. And not heartbreaking because I didn't get to see them. Heartbreaking because that reason that they gave me has so much control over their life. Because a lot of them weren't trying to give me an excuse. They love me, but they just really are slaves in that way. And I hate to ever be derogatory because I want to have respect for you and your efforts. I mean, you as the audience. So I'm not saying that, by being loyal to your grind is being a slave. But if you don't have control over your grind, that's why I wrote, having control over yourself is important. That's in all aspects of life, having control over what you can spend, having control over what you can, listen, for somebody that has very little control over where I can go and what I can do because of my condition, I just beg you that after this podcast is over, you go look yourself in the mirror and you count your blessings and you make a note of all of the things you do have control over in your life that you're not in control of that are causing you problems. There's people out there that are far worse off than me that really don't have control and don't have the option to have control. You know what I mean? So take control of your life and get around other people. And if you don't have a purpose around them, offer somebody some help.
That is key right there. Like a lot of people say, I don't really know how to make friends, or I'm not good at making friends, or there aren't people here that I connect with. But the thing is, there's always somebody you can connect with. And if you start by thinking, what can I offer people? And maybe that means working on yourself and offering a better version of yourself first. But if you go into any situation, like what can I give, whether that's lend an ear to somebody who wants to talk, or buy a person the sandwich that they're buying, or just sit next to a group of people who are talking and start asking them questions. I mean, it's really just about connecting with people. You might not make a best friend that way, but that's how you open the door to start making those friends and start making those connections.
You know, we all have a weapon that kills it every time. And not all of us use it, and not all of us use it correctly, but we all have it. And if you ever feel like people aren't responding to you, it's probably because you're not using your weapon. So just go smile. It's very difficult for us as humans to resist responding to somebody that smiles at us. It's very difficult. I'll repeat that. For us as humans to not respond to somebody when they're smiling at us. You know, I highly recommend How to Win Friends and Influence People, the book by Dale Carnegie. It's older than dirt. It's one of the greatest best-selling books of all time, if not the best. But there's a lot of psychology in this book, and a lot of the books that I've read in my pattern or my pathway of personal development are kind of books like that are psychology-based books. You know, where I'm not just reading to entertain myself; I'm reading to better myself, and that's where I've learned. I've heard and read about things like how people can't resist smiles. And you know what? Nobody ever argues with you when you say that, because they're like, you know, you're right. It's hard to resist a smile, you know. So go out and smile at people. Get busy living in that way, you know. And
yeah, that's probably the easiest thing there is to do.
And we have a desire here to offer you mindset perspectives that will help you get over things. I hope that, you know, anyone that sees this podcast throughout the course of the next couple days come across, you know, a circumstance where a little nugget of info that they picked up here with us contemplating these things help them kind of get through it a little bit. You know what I mean? What's up? Speaking of smiles, my dog.
That's not funny.
So, D-Rex, what do you think about the fact that now some of these people, quite a few of these people though, that are chiming in, you've had the opportunity to meet now, such as
Yeah, that's great. My friend network is really expanding, and I love it.
So, Melanie Levitz is in the house, and Smiles. And matter of fact, hey, give credit where credit is due. Smiles introduced me to Melanie.
Oh.
And now Smiles is one of my top dogs of all time. And Melanie is Melanie. Well, what is Melanie? She is like a godsend for me. She's keeping me in line. Thanks to her, a lot of the tasks on my task list over the course of the past half a year that I needed help getting done would not have gotten done without her. And she's helped me pull myself together this year too, because I can't lie, man. Like being on vacation for 5 of 7 weeks, starting before Thanksgiving and ending after New Year's. There was only 2 weeks in there that I wasn't getting busy living, and it's been hard to get my head back in line with the responsibilities that I have, because I have responsibilities. I have responsibilities on a daily and a weekly basis, just maintaining my body so that I don't get sick or have injuries or wounds. That's an ongoing occupation, and then obviously just trying to make a living like the rest of us. I have my deals, in school and that. So putting all that stuff aside, it wasn't that I put it aside. It's, I try to work my ass off to get ahead when I can, so that I have time to do those type of things. And then every opportunity I get, it'd be amazed what you can accomplish from a smartphone these days.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of amazing how many times you podcasted from your van. It's pretty crazy what we've gotten done. Even right now, I'm podcasting from my phone because things were breaking down here. But I think that it'll be good for you to get back to your work with Melanie. You've been very busy, and you've also had a whole lot of time alone, like when you were driving, when you were taking those road trips, a lot of time alone. And you're a really social person, so I imagine that kind of freaks you out a little bit, doesn't it? To be alone for such long periods? Or were you on the phone?
No, actually, it's funny you mention that, because I went to sleep thinking about this last night. This exact thing.
Oh, I read your mind.
I talk to myself in my head nonstop. So I was never alone. I was never alone. My mind does not just wander. You know, I'm
Mhm.
always like, and last night as I was falling asleep, I was thinking about that. Like, we all have glitches, right? There's no perfect humans, but there's kind of a blueprint for what's not a glitch, you know. And I'm pretty sure that the way that my mind works and very rarely like just kind of like chills is a glitch. Look at the love in the chat room. Look at Tasha. Miss you smile. Angel Gomez. Man, Angel, last time we talked, I was driving from Erie or from Kane to Erie, and we had a conversation, and it was a very serious, heartfelt conversation. Um, I could have texted this to you, but look, I want to resume that conversation. I'm not going to share the public what it was, but since you're tuning in, bro, I want to let you know that that was a big deal to me, and that I want to get back there. You know, the
I don't know if you saw above. He said he's having a grandchild. Did you see that?
No, I didn't catch that. Congratulations! Hell yeah, that's awesome. I got to hang out with him and his son back when I was coming back through for December, and that was a great time. You know, Louise today was making a comment. We had so many great conversations today, topics of conversation, but she commented today about it being an inspiration to see someone get busy living after what I've been through.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never get tired of hearing that, because I'm inspired. If I'm an inspiration, you know, I'm channeling the support, right? If I've ever told you the truth about my feelings, I truly believe that I would not have been able to push through if I didn't have people supporting me. If I had woke up in that Bali hospital and didn't have a phone, I have no doubt I would not be here. If I had, even if I had lived through it, because obviously I wouldn't be here without all of the monetary support, right? But if I didn't have so many people tuning in and pushing me, you know, like I don't, my brain does not recall the 2 weeks I was in a coma, but my experiences are still there. I know that it wasn't a frightening experience as it could have been. I felt relatively safe. I felt very confident from the very first day that I was going to get back on my feet, and I still feel confident. But that's because of all of you guys that are rooting for me. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Check out Mel. You know.
Yeah,
So
I think that you're a huge inspiration for a lot of us. And it's like, to me, I'm always like, look at what this guy's doing, and you know, if you're a fully able-bodied person who is not depressed, it's like you should be able to take what they see with you and turn that into like, well, I can do something great too, you know?
I hope so. But that's a result. That's not something that I put action into so much as, you know, waking up and Scott telling me that my story went around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, really? And then I saw that I told 20,000 people that I was going to throw them a huge party if they got me out of this jam. I was like, really? You know, so the fact that there was 20,000 people watching is like, really? And the fact that all this money got raised, and so many people, like, man, these last 2 trips, I got a chance to talk to a lot of people that I hadn't seen, you know, obviously since it happened, and a lot of people that I haven't even talked to because of whatever reasons. And everybody has a version of where they were, you know, when I got injured and when all that shit was going on. And, you know, to get back to your point about community, I mean, that's been my strength. It's been my strength.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as and honestly, man, that's the point of this. That's the point of this Get Busy Living podcast, is me absorbing that this enormous amount of goodwill and human kindness and turning it into a life where I feel like I owe it to those of you that saved my life to do something with this life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I you know, I've said out loud and felt wholeheartedly at one point or another that when I got injured, I was as successful as any man who's ever lived. I had a happy and healthy daughter in college. I had my own business that was paying me, so I didn't even have to work. And I was, I had business partners. I had business partners in Bali that were helping me make it easier in that regard as well. And I was living on a tropical island, playing my guitar at night and surfing every day.
Amazing.
I feel Vaughn's in the house. What up, dog? So that's who I went and hung out with going through Louisville back during the Florida trip. And so, being that I was completely free, I didn't have any pressures and I didn't have any stresses and I didn't have anybody telling me what to do. And that's, to me, that complete and utter freedom to me that's why I feel like I was successful as anyone ever, because how many of us ever don't have an obligation at all to the community? Mm-hmm. And the fact that I was able to achieve that was based on the fact that I had other people helping me. I had set up put a system in place that other people were doing the work for me and afforded me that kind of freedom. The point is that there is a goal here with this podcast, is to build a community, is to encourage people to make the most of their lives as though it was given to them by somebody that they care about. Not just, we all take our lives for granted, and I've been saying since a long time ago, probably since, I became a parent, that, in a lot of ways we owe it to ourselves. We owe it to our species. We owe it to each other, that if we were given the gift of life, that we should give it. Like, we should all have a child, each one of us, not half, one. If you give the gift of life, give somebody else the opportunity that you were given. To me, that's the greatest gift. The best way to reciprocate the gift that we were given. And once you've been given that gift by a parent, and then it's been taken away by a silly move, chasing a monkey for a hat, and then you have it given back to you by a community. It's a unique kind of love you have for that community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The guy that I was talking to this morning about what we're doing here, he was telling me about and I was asking him about his best case scenario, what would be the ideal outcome for you in your life, and he had a great answer, but without quoting him, it was all about helping. Mm-hmm. It's all about helping. And what does that tell you? If you have humans that have figured out a way to alleviate the stresses in their lives, we naturally are inclined to help others when we get there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so
you almost feel like what's the point? If you would get to the point where all of your stresses are alleviated, what is there left to do?
Help others.
Yeah.
That's why.
And it's a great practice to get into even before you've alleviated all the stresses in your life, because it helps you alleviate the stress in your life.
Yeah, it can be what helps you alleviate stress. And it should be, not could be, it should be. I've said many times, if you have trouble counting your blessings, start with your opposable thumbs. There's 2. 1, 2. I don't have those. My thumbs don't oppose. So picking up stuff, I have to squeeze it like this.
Mm-hmm. That's hard and exhausting.
Yeah. So, when I go buy food at the store and I can't open the wrapper because it requires like that tearing motion, mm-hmm. Count your blessings.
Well, let me ask you this before we wrap things up here. Stem cells, is that something that would help something like your grip?
Yes, in that the goal of the stem cell therapy for me will be to regenerate the damaged part of my spinal cord. And the reason that doesn't, or that is like that muscle right there has no nerves telling it to move. So just like all the other muscles below my injury, they're all atrophied, you know. And so once my spinal cord regenerates and those muscles start getting the signals, then I'll have the muscle that it takes to pull that thumb aside like that.
Would that be the first sign that things are regenerating, or does it kind of go wherever? Like I'd be very interested in doing an entire podcast on this.
That's where the experts come in, because I definitely want to be very careful that you guys know that we're not experts and we're just out here living.
Yeah, it's true.
You know?
It's true.
So no, but that is part of the goal. You know, little by little, we're building. You know, I built a lot. Amen, sister. Amen. Amen. And coming from somebody that's been through it. Look at that. Look at that. So, wow. Lori shared with me a video recently that, with your permission, Lori, I'd love to share with the podcast in the near future, about a little man going up the stairs and then walking across the room. Man, some people want, you know, money, hoes, and clothes. I want to see that kind of stuff, you know? Yeah. Though there's lots to do, guys. If I, you know, so there was a lot of pieces that had to fall into place, D-Rex, between the time when you recommended a live streaming podcast and we actually launched it. A lot of stuff had to fall in place, right? I could have been the guy I could have been the person that said, I'm going to wait until everything's perfect before we started podcasting. And then what? Practice in my closet, you know?
Well, it was kind of crazy how fast you wanted to get to it. You scared me because I think it was July. And I was thinking, okay, so when do you want to do this? And I thought the answer was going to be January. And you were like, September 1st. I was like, whoa. And I think that's also a good thing, you know, to just dive right into things before you're ready. Because often you'll talk yourself out of all sorts of interesting and fun things in your life if you don't feel you're ready. Including, like, so many people do that with having children. They don't feel like they're like financially ready or whatever, but it's what they really want. And I like that we just jumped right into this podcasting thing without looking back, like within a month, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing, is that, you know, if, you know, there was a time when I wasn't ready, and then guess what? I still wasn't ready, right? Look at all of the errors that we've come across along the way. We're doing what we can with what we have, just like Phil said, jumping in and building it as we go. I'm doing what I can with the time that I have. So there's a lot of things that should be done, that could be done for this entire program and this entire mission if I had more time, right? I chip away a little by little each day, and obviously you as well. We're chipping away, and so in time there will be other responsibilities that are involved with both the nonprofit and with this, you know, medium to keep in touch with the audience, that are going to be delegated, and more stuff will be getting done, you know. But it takes time for me to do my other stuff. Everybody, we all have our 9 to 5, right? You know, so, you know, in time, you know, I'm just glad that we are where we are. I appreciate all you guys for chiming in. D-Rex, I love you, girl.
I love you. And you know what? I want everybody to send some love to the hswa.org. Get over there and see if you can't donate $25 to get the what's the official title of this book? I don't want to call it the Book of Sweetisms.
Well, if you look at go ahead and put our background up so that
I'm not sure if I can, but let me try. It might screw up my Wi-Fi.
Oh no, I can do it.
I can't see it.
Let me just go into that. And so this title was the result of, so how do we the way that works, I'll just go ahead and run over real quick. So we have a raffle going on. I could have just said, these books are available at this cost and throw some money at that and then just been, some sort of benefactor for that. Right. Or but after consulting with the other folks that are involved in the organization, we came up with this raffle because we want the community to be involved. We want the community to benefit as well. So rather than, setting up a break-even point that didn't give us any kind of wiggle room, we set it up a little higher. So that's why we have $25 or more. $25 or more donated at the hswa.org gets you a reservation for a copy of The Life and Year of Swedism's book. $25 or more, and then we're going to take 2,000 reservations. Right now, we're not even to 50 yet. So we're going to take 2,000 reservations. Once we get to 2,000, that the revenues generated from that is going to be enough to send 2 people on a vacation, all expense paid vacation to Alaska with Scooty Wells. He's going to take you anywhere in Alaska you want to go and do whatever you want to do. If you're a fisherman, you'll fish. If you're a hunter, you'll hunt. If you want to ride a boat, you'll ride a boat. If you want to ride a plane, you'll ride a plane. He's going to take you up there. And if you go to Alaska with anybody, it should be him. This dude is a mountain rugged man, and he knows how to do it all. And so the 25 times 2,000 is going to afford that. It's going to afford a stem cell treatment for someone like Schaefer, and it's also going to afford us to be able to print and ship the books. So everything that we do here is transparent because it's all for the betterment of the community. So go there, get yourself on the list, reserve a copy, and help us get to 2,000. Once we get there, then we're going to be sending somebody to Alaska.
Absolutely. That's going to be the most wonderful thing to see.
Speaking of Erie, I just want to Mike Rhodes is in the house. Speaking of Erieite, so Rhodes, you came in just in time. We are actually signing off. Hey, for all of you guys that are tuning in, I want to say thank you so much for coming. Seriously, this is the beginning, and little by little, chipping away. There's so many of you that are tuned in right now that have already put your hand in the pile to get me to where I'm at, especially with this podcast, but in life in general. So just know that we're plugging away, and this is all for you. And so just keep on coming back. And by the way, don't hesitate to go to our YouTube channel and subscribe, and then throw some more comments in there. Make sure that you click to be notified. That way you'll get reminded, and I won't have to send text messages eventually. And come back every Thursday. And by the way, go check out Unblaw Yourself.
He's talking about my YouTube channel, which we can talk about some other time. But that's kind of a fashion and lifestyle channel for us older ladies. And,
I think we should do an entire podcast about Unblaw Yourself too, because there's definitely a need for this mindset that you're promoting over there. I mean, it's over here too. You're promoting it here too, but it's over there. It's a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's a very parallel message.
Yes, and if you look at the people that are commenting, D-Rex, a lot of these people are the audience that Unblaw Yourself would appeal to. So, Unblaw
if anybody
yourself,
feels like going to check it out, there it is.
Yes. Yeah. So again, D-Rex, I love you. Thank you so much for coming in. Always remember, we're all in this together. Always remember, no matter the weather, whether sunshine or rain, there's no joy without pain. Always remember, we're all in this together. Thanks for coming, guys. It's a great day.
Thank you, everybody.
Hell yeah.
You can see it when you see me, but you gotta believe me. Ain't nothing coming easy my way. No, I fucking work, but it's fucking work.